Now I'd like to demonstrate how we change a regulator from an empty tank or near empty tank over to a new tank, a new full one. Let's pretend for a moment that we have continued the therapy with whichever device it is we were using, and now the pressure on this pressure gauge has dropped down into the red range, into the 500 or less range. Under 500 or in that red range, it still has a little bit of gas in it, but depending on what you're doing, it has so little time left in the therapy that it's kind of considered time to change it. So we're going to consider that this needle is in the red area, and we're going to change this regulator onto a full tank. So I'm going to close this main valve with the wrench. The main valve is part of the tank, and you might have to move your wrench around a few times and snug it up really good. Now you notice that there's still some pressure on the pressure gauge. I'd like to drain that pressure out. And you see how quickly that needle dropped. That 3 or 4 seconds was just the gas trapped in the regulator because the main valve is closed. Now, main valve is closed, pressure drained off the regulator. Close the needle valve back up again. It's safe to dismount or remove this regulator. I'm loosening the T-handle. Doesn't take much to make it loose. Supporting this with my left hand and pulling the T-handle out on its threads and lifting it off. I'm just setting it down somewhere. Now, what I'd really like you to do now is have a look at this tag. This bottom part of the tag says full. The next level up says in use, and then empty above that. It's really beneficial for tank handling if we tear off the appropriate part of that tag. If we tear it off so that it only says empty on it, I'm going to just tear off this full here right now, show you how easy it is. The in use is still on there. If when it's empty I tore off that in use part, then when we get them back in the tank room, we can tell which ones are which. Really isn't very much difference in the weight of a full one and an empty one. So that would be the dismounting of the regulator. This can be taken to the tank room or tank storage area and a new one brought out for mounting the next regulator, or the regulator on this now full tank, which we can of course use for therapy.